A woman bought a grinder for 60,000 naira. She sold it at a loss of 15%. How much did she sell it? These are the answer options A, B, C, and D. This is a JAMB question. You have to be fast with it. With this option, you know the woman definitely can't sell above 600. So that's why you have all the answer options below 60. If there's anyone that is above, it will be struck out. Okay, so we solve. Since we know the 15% loss, that is, we minus that from the 100%, the amount that she bought, okay, which will give us 85%. Alright, so we now multiply the 85%, which is 85 over 100, to be multiplied by the 60,000 naira, which is the amount she bought it. Okay, so we eliminate the 2 zeros, 0 cancels 0, so we now have 85 times 600. Okay, 85 times 600, which will give us 51,000, and that is option A. Express the product of this number and this number in standard form with the option answers of A, B, C, D. This is a JAMB question. Okay, we start. 0.00043, we express that in standard number, so we have 4.3, that is the mantissa, to be multiplied by the exponent 10 raised to power 1, 2, 3, 4. When we count to the right, we have a negative raised to power of -4. Okay, then the second number 2000 will now be changed to a standard number 2 times 10 raised to power the exponent, which is 1, 2, 3, that is 10 raised to power 3, because we're going to count to the right 1, 2, 3 to add the 0. So for counting to the left, for count to the left, we have the exponent as a positive exponent, but if we're counting to the left is a negative exponent. So now we multiply directly the mantissas, which is 4.3 to be multiplied by 2 bracket times, then we'll multiply the exponent directly as well to be multiplied by 10 raised to power 3. So now we have 4 times 3, which is 8.6, to be multiplied by this. In here we'll have 10 raised to power -4 plus 3, which will now give us 8.6 times -4 plus 3 will give us 10 raised to power -1. So A is the answer. Option A is the answer. A man donates 10% of his monthly net earnings to his church. If it amounts to 4,500 naira, what is his net monthly income? This is the answer option A, B, C, and D. Okay, so sometimes in JAMB mathematics you don't need to solve or to go into details of solving the questions before getting the answer. Like in this case, it is made known that 4,500 naira is the amount that it pays to the church, and that is just 10%. Okay, so for us to have the total amount, the net monthly income, which will now amount to 10% of that. Okay, so we multiply that by 10, because 10% into 10 places will give us 100%, which is the net monthly income. So we just multiply that by 10 and we get 45,000, which is the answer option D. So the correct answer option is D. If log 7.5 is equal to 0.8751, then evaluate 2 log 7.5 plus log 750 given these answer options of A, B, C, and D. Okay, so let's solve. We are to evaluate 2 log 7.5, okay, plus log 750. Remember, this is JAMB mathematics. You may not need to write all this. You just start solving immediately. Okay, so we have 2 bracket log 7.5 plus log 10. Okay, solving this out. Then let's quickly be solving this one out too as well. So we have log 7.5 plus log 10. It's supposed to be raised to power 2, but we'll bring the 2 by the side of the log. Okay, so now we have 2 brackets log 7.5 to be represented by 0.8751 plus log 10 is 1, okay, plus log 7.5 to be represented by 0.8751 plus log 10 is 1, then 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so this plus this, which will make the 1 to come to be 1.875, then times it by 2, which will give us 3.7502, plus by the time you add this, it will now be 2.8751. So by the time you add this up, that is this plus this, which gives you 3, this plus this gives you 5, then 5 plus 7 gives you 12. You write down 2, carry 1 to the next column. 7 plus 8 gives you 15, then you add that 1, make it 16, then you carry 1 to the next column. 3 plus 2 gives you 5, plus the 1 that you bring in from the other column gives you 6. So we have option D as the right answer. Simplify this expression with the answer option A, B, C, and D. Alright, so we start immediately. 2 root 2 minus root 3 divided by root 2 plus root 3. What you need to do is to multiply the denominator by the numerator and the denominator, except you have to change the sign, the plus sign, to minus sign. Alright, so you do the same thing with the denominator. The sign will change. Okay, so now we have 2 root 2 bracket root 2 minus root 3 bracket minus root 3, that is this one, to now multiply root 2 minus root 3. Alright, so let's work the one of the denominator. So we have root 2 to multiply root 2 minus root 3. Alright, so we have plus root 3 to multiply root 2 minus root 3. Alright, so now let's move it up, okay, from our room. So now we do that. root 2 times root 2 will give us what? Root 4. And that is root 4. Okay, but to make it faster, we can just say, since we know what root 4 is 2. Square root of 4 is 2. Okay, so 2 times 2, which will give us 4. Alright, this is a JAMB question, so you have to be fast with it. Alright, so secondly we go multiply this root 2 times root 3. Solve for x in this expression. Remember, this is a JAMB question. Alright, so we solve now. The negative power of x will make x to become a denominator. Okay, so now we have 2 over 25. So now we cross multiply, so we have 2 times x square equals 8 times 25. Now we can divide both sides by 2, which will cancel out 2 on the left hand side. Then 2 in here, 1, 2 in 8, 4. 4 times 25 will give us 100. Now we still go further on by breaking the x square, that is using the square root, finding the square root of x on both sides. Whatever we do to the right hand side, we do to the left hand side. Okay, so now we have x equals the square root of 100 is 10. So option P is the right answer. If P is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and P union Q is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, list the element in Q. Okay, so now for Q, for P, this is the element of P. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as given here. Okay, and this is the total element, the whole list of element, that is the union of P and Q, which means for us to get Q, which means this is Q, 6 and 7. Alright, so answer option A is the right answer. From the Venn diagram, the shaded part represents one of these answer options: A, B, C, or D. Okay, let's start with the first answer option, P union Q. P union Q means that the whole circle of P, this empty space part, will be shaded as well. Okay, so A is a wrong answer option. Okay, so let's go to the second, to B answer option, P intersect Q. P intersect Q means that the common shaded part between P and Q, which is this is the common, the white shaded part. Okay, so that is correct. Let's go to the next expression, P intersect R. P intersect R. This is the common shaded part of P intersect R. Okay, so we're still right. Then the common intersect, that is between P and Q and P and R, which is the middle, the yellow shaded part. Okay, so B is the right answer option. Okay, If gt squared minus k minus w is equal to 0, make g the subject of the formula with the answer option of A, B, C, and D. Okay, this is JAMB, so we have to be fast. Minus k minus w, if it goes to the right hand side, it becomes k plus w. Okay, then on the left hand side we see have our jt squared, which we have to divide both sides so that's to make g the subject of the formula. So by the time we divide k plus w by t squared, we have the right answer option as C. Factorize 2y squared minus 15xy plus 18x squared with its answer option A, B, C, D. This is supposed to be D. Alright, so now we have to further break down the minus 15xy into minus 12xy minus 3xy, which will give us minus 15xy plus 18x squared. Okay, between these two, we look for the common term, which is 2y. When 2y goes in there, we're left with y minus 6x. Okay, the same thing was a common term between the two terms in here. We have minus 3x. Okay, bracket, we're left with y, then minus 3x in 18 minus 18x squared, we're left with minus 6x. So now we have 2y minus 3x, then the common terms and the 2, which is y minus 6x. Okay, which answer option has that? Okay, D is the correct answer option. Find the value of k if y minus 1 is a factor of y raised to power 3 plus 4 y raised to power 2 plus ky minus 6. Okay, so if we have f y equals y raised to power 3 plus 4 y raised to power 2 plus ky minus 6, and then we represent, we have y minus 1, then we can have y equals to 1, then we represent that 1 as y in the equation. Okay, so we have bracket 1 raised to power 3 plus 4 bracket 1 raised to power 2 plus k bracket 1 minus 6. We then have 0 equals 1 plus 4 plus k minus 6. So if the k comes to the left hand side, the plus sign changes to minus. So we have 1 plus 4 gives us 5 minus 6, which will give us minus 1. The minus cancels the minus, so we have 1, which makes the A answer option the right answer. Y varies directly as w raised to power 2 when y is equal to 8. W is equal to 2. Find y when w is equal to 3. So we have an expression of y varies directly w square. Okay, so y is equal to constant w square, and so we have y as 8, so 8 is equal to the constant, then w as 2, okay, raised to power 2. So 2 times 2 gives us what? 4, alright, k4. So divide both sides by 4, then we have k as 2, okay. So by the time we bring the constant k, represent that in this equation 2 when w is 3, okay, raised to power 2. So we have 2 times 3 times 3, that's 9. 2 times 9, that's 18. So the answer option C is the right answer. P varies directly as Q and inversely as R. When Q is 36 and R is 16, P is 27. Find the relation between P, Q, and R. Alright, so when P varies directly Q and inversely R, okay, so P equals constant as K Q over R. So when P is 27, we have 27 equals K and Q is 36 over R, which is 16, okay. So we can cross multiply, which will now give us K 36 27 times 16, then divide by 36, can do the dividing. 4 in 16 we have 4, 4 in 36 we have 9, 9 in 27 we have 3, so 3 times 4, that's 12. So K is 12. So in the relation we have P equals, now K is 12 Q over R. So this is the final answer, and which is the same as option D is the right answer option. Find the mean of this set of values. The mean is adding up the number, the values, that is t plus 2 plus 2t minus 4 plus 3t plus 2 plus 2t over the number of values, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, divided by 4. T plus 2t gives us 3t plus another 3t gives 6t. 6t plus 2t gives us 8t. Then 2 minus 4 gives us minus 2. Minus 2 plus 2 gives us 0. So we have to divide 80 by 2. 4 here 1, 4 here 2t. So the mean is 2t, with the answer option of C as the correct answer. Evaluate the inequality x over 2 plus 3 over 4 less than or equal to 5x over 6 minus 7/12. Alright, we start by looking for the LCM on the left hand side of the denominators on the left hand side, 2 and 4, which is 4. Alright, 2 and 4 gives us 2 times x, which gives us 2x, plus 4 and 4, 1 times 3, that's 3. Alright, less than or equal to the same. We look for the LCM on the right hand side, the LCM of 6 and 12, which is 12. 6 and 12 is 2. 2 times 5, that gives us what? 10x. Good. Alright, minus 12 and 12 will give us what? 1. 1 times 7, that is 7. Alright, now we cross multiply. Alright, so 12 will multiply to x, which will give us 24x, plus 12 times 3, which will give us 36. Okay, less than or equal to 4 times 10x, which will give us 40x. Alright, 4 times minus 7, which will give us minus 28. Alright, now we collect the like terms. Okay, so we bring 40x to the left hand side. The positive sign will now change to minus. Okay, so we have minus 40x less than or equal to minus 28. Then the 36 will come to the right hand side. This plus sign will now change to minus sign. Okay, so we have minus 36. Alright, so 24 minus 40x will give us a negative number, alright, which is minus 16x. Alright, less than or equal to minus 28 minus 36 will give us a negative number of minus 64. Alright, so now we divide both sides by minus 16. Okay, alright, so divided by minus 16. So by the time we are dividing the inequality by a negative number, a negative sign, it will change the inequality sign. Okay, so 64 divided by 16 is 4. Okay, so now the sign will change from less than to greater than or equal to 4, and I think that tallies with option C. So option C is the right answer. Evaluate this expression. These are the answer options. Okay, so expressing this, we have log 2 raised to power 3 base 2 plus log 2 raised to power 4 base 2 minus log 2 raised to power 2 base 2. Okay, 2 times 2 times 2 will give you 8. 2 times 2 4 times 2 8 times 2 16. Alright, so we got that. So you can continue by expressing it as this: log 2 base 2 plus the 4 coming to the left hand side of the log 2 base 2 minus 2 log 2 base 2, and any number equals to its base, any log equals to its base is equal to 1. Okay, so 3 times 1, that's 3, plus 4 times 1, that's 4, minus 2 times 1, that's 1, no, that's 2. Okay, so we have 3 plus 7, 3 plus 4, which is 7, 7 minus 2, which is 5. So the answer option A is the right answer. Find y with this given expression. Okay, so we have 5x minus 6y, which equals 7. Let this be equation 1. Okay, then we also have 2x minus 7y, which gives us minus 11, and let this also be equation 2. Okay, so now let's use simultaneous equation. Let's solve this by elimination method. So we have to multiply this by 2 and multiply this by 5. 2 times 5x will give us 10x. Okay, 2 times 6y will give us 12y, which equals 2 times 7, which will give us 14. Let's call this equation 3. Okay, then 5 times 2x will give us 10x minus 5 times 7y, which will give us 35y, which is now equal to 5 times 11 minus 11, which will give us minus 55, and let this be equation 4. Okay, so now let's subtract equation 4 from equation 3. Okay, 10x minus 10x will give us 0, minus 12x minus 25x. The minus will change to plus, which will now give us 23y. Okay, equals 14 minus 55. The minus will change to plus, which will now give us 69. Okay, so we divide both sides by 23. Okay, 23 and 23, that's 169 to be divided by 23 will give us 3. Okay, so we have y as 3, which makes A the right answer option. If this expression is equal to minus 12, find x. So we cross multiply. We multiply 4 minus x, which gives us minus 4x, and we subtract that from the multiplication of minus 1 times 12. Okay, so minus 1 times 12 will give us minus 12. Okay, which is equal to minus 12. So now we have minus times minus, which is plus. Okay, so we have minus 4x plus 12, which is equal to minus 12. So we take the plus 12 to the right hand side, which will now be minus 12 minus 12. The plus sign will change to minus, so we now have minus 24. Then we divide both sides by minus 4, so this will be eliminated. Divide this by minus 4. Minus cancel minus. 4 in 24 will give us 6. So the right answer option is B. Find the value of this expression. So we're going to use 0 to multiply this and this. Okay, so it's like this way. When you take 0, you eliminate the numbers here and the numbers here. When you take 3, you eliminate the numbers here and the numbers here. Okay, if you take 2, you eliminate the numbers here, all the numbers on this row and on this column. Okay, so we start. 0 7, 8, 5, 4. Then for the second number is going to be a negative number, so minus 3, 1, 0, 8, 4. Then the last number 2, 1, 7, 0, 5. We may not need to solve these because whatever you multiply this with is going to give you 0. Okay, so this will now be 1 times 4, which is 4. Okay, so 3 bracket 4 minus 0 times 8 is 0 bracket. Okay, so we have plus 2 times 1 times 5, that's 5, minus 0 times 7, that's 0. Okay, so we're left with minus 3 times 4, that's minus 12. Then 2 times 5, that's 10. Okay, so minus 12 plus 10 gives us minus 2. Okay, so B is the right answer option. How many sides has a regular polygon whose interior angle is 135 degrees each? For each exterior angle is equal to 180 degrees minus 135 degrees, which is now equal to 45 degrees each. But the sum of the exterior angles is equal to 4 right angles, which is 360 degrees. That is 90 times 4, 90 degrees times 4. And this is to be divided by 45 degrees, which will give us 8. So the polygon has 8 sides, and that makes B the right answer option. In the figure, KL is parallel to NM. Okay, so we have LN bisecting the triangle KNM right here. If the angle KLN is equal to 54 degrees, the angle MKN is equal to 35 degrees. Now calculate the size of angle KMN, that is this angle. Let's the angle be X degree. Okay, so now we have angle LNM as 54 degrees because both angles are alternate angles. And if angle line LN bisects this angle KNM, it means that this angle, the second angle, also will be 54 degrees because it's going to bisect this angle as two equal angles. So the sum of angles in this triangle KMN is equal to 35 degrees plus 54 degrees plus 54 degrees plus X degree, which is now equal to 180 degrees, because the sum of angles in a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So by the time we add these degrees together, we have 143 degrees plus X, which is X degree, which is equal to 180 degrees. So by the time we move the 140 degrees to the right angle, we have 180 degrees minus 143 degrees, and that gives us 37 degrees. So the answer option A is the right answer. From the figure above, what is the value of P? Q degree is equal to 30 degrees because this angle and this angle are opposite angles and they are equal. So, the sum of angles on the straight line, which is P plus 2Q plus 30 degrees, is equal to 180 degrees. And since we now have Q as 30 degrees, we substitute that for Q. Alright, so we now have P 2 times 30 gives us 60, 60 plus 30, which gives us 90 degrees, which is equal to 180 degrees. So by the time you take this 90 degrees to the right hand side, it becomes minus 90 degrees, which will now give us 90 degrees, and that is the answer option D. Find the value of x in the figure below. Okay, so we have tan 30 degrees is equal to opposite, which is 10 cm, over adjacent, which is x. Okay, tan 30 degrees is 1 over square root 3, okay, which is equal to 10 over x. When you cross multiply, you have x is equal to 10 times root 3, and that goes with the answer option D. If the angle of a sector of a circle with radius 10.5 cm is 120 degrees, find the perimeter of the sector. The perimeter of the sector is equal to the length of the arc, plus 2r. The length of the arc is equal to 120 degrees to be divided by 360 degrees times 2 times pi, which is to be represented by 22 over 7 times the radius, which is 10.5 cm. Okay, so by the time we divide 120 by 360, we have 1 over 3. Then if we multiply, let's quickly do that. 2 times 22 is 44, so 44 times 10.5, we have 462. So we have 462 to be divided by 7. So if we also use a calculator, 462 divide 3 times 7, which is 21, divided by 21, we have 22 as the length of arc. And now that we have the length of arc as 22, the perimeter is length of arc plus 2r, which is 22 plus 2r, and radius is 10.5 centimeter. So by the time we multiply that, we have 22. Okay, let's do it this way. 2 times 10.5, we have 21 plus 22, so we have 43 centimeter as the length of the arc, and that corresponds with the answer option D. A cylindrical tank has a capacity of 6,160 metric. What is the depth of the tank if the radius of its base is 28 centimeter. The volume of a cylinder is equal to pi r square h. Okay, so we have the volume already given as 6160, alright, cube, which is equal to the pi is given as 22/7. The r, which is the radius, is given as 28 centimeters. So we have 28 times 28, then to be multiplied by the height, which is the depth. That's what we're looking for. So if we cross multiply, we have 22 times 28 times 28 times h, which is equal to 610 times 7. By the time we divide both sides by this, 22 times 28 times 28 to be divided by, on the other side as well, the right hand side, 22 times 28 times 28. This cancel this out. Let's quickly use the calculator. 22, let's calculate the denominator first. 22 times 28 times 28 gives us 17248, and then 6160 times 7 gives us 43,120, and if we divide that by 17248, we have 2.5, and that goes with answer option B. The locus of a dog tethered to a pole with a rope of 4 meters is. The simple idea of a locus is that it is the path traced out by a point which moves in accordance with a certain law. If this is the pole where the dog was tied and this is the rope, it's going to go, there's a possibility that the dog can only go round in a circle. Okay, so circle with the radius 4m. So the answer option is D. Find the midpoint of S bracket minus 5, 4 and T bracket minus 3, minus 2. So we labeled the points. This is x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. Okay, so the midpoint of x is equal to x2 plus x1 to be divided by 2. Okay, the midpoint. So x2 is minus 3 plus x1, which is minus 5. Alright, so to be divided by 2, so we have minus 2 plus times minus is minus, so we end up with minus 8 to be divided by 2, which gives us minus 4. Okay, then the midpoint of y will be y2 minus y1 to be divided by 2, and that gives us y2 is not plus, y2 is minus 2 plus 4 to be divided by 2. Minus 2 plus 4 will give us 2. 2 divided by 2, which gives us 1. So the midpoint is minus 4 and 1, that is x and y, and A, the answer option A, is the right answer. The gradient of the line joining x4 and 1, 2 is 1 over 2. Find the value of x. The gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 to be divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, the gradient is 1 over 2 as given. Then the y2, this is the y2, 2 minus y1, and this is the y1, which is 4, to be divided by x2, this is x2, which is 1, minus x1, which is x. Okay, we cross multiply. At the time we cross multiply, we have 1 minus x on the left hand side, then 2 to multiply this. 2 minus 4 is minus 2, so 2 times minus 2 will give us minus 4. Alright, so by the time we move the 1 to this side, we have minus x equals minus 4 minus 1. The plus sign will change to minus, so we left becomes minus 5. Then the minus cancel minus, then we have x equals 5, and that corresponds with answer option C. And the figure, what is the equation of the line that passes the y-axis at 0, 5 and passes the x-axis at 5, 0? The point, 0 point here is x1, 5 is y2, y1, this is x2, and this is y2. Okay, so now we have y minus y1 over x minus x1 equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So now we substitute these values for this x1, x2, y1 and y2. So now we have y minus y1, which is now 5, over x minus x1, which is now 0, and now equal to y2. y2 is 0 minus y1, and y1 is 5, over x2. x2 is 5 and x1 is 0. Alright, so now we have y minus 5 over x equals 0 minus 5 is minus 5 over 5. 5 goes in near 1, so we are now left with 1 here. So we cross multiply, so we have y minus 5 equals minus x. So if we take the minus 5 to the right hand side, we now have minus x plus 5, and that goes with the option D. So the right option is D. Calculate the midpoint of the line segment y minus 4x plus 3 equals 0, which lies between the x-axis and y-axis. The line segment y minus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0, which is now equal to 4x. By the time this comes to the right hand side, minus 3. When x is 0, that is x1 is 0, y is equal to 4 times 0 minus 3, which is now equal to minus 3. So y1 is minus 3. When y is 0, x is equal, that is 0 minus 4x plus 3 equals 0, minus x, 4x equals minus 3. By the time this comes to the right hand side, then we'll have to divide both sides by minus 4. Divide by minus 4. Minus cancel minus. So x is 3 over 4. So when y is 0, that is y2, x2 is 3 over 4. The midpoint at x is equal to x2 plus x1 over, or to be divided by 2. Okay, so x2 is 3 over 4 plus x1, which is 0, to be divided by 2. So now we have 3 over 4. The division we want to change to multiplication, which we now invert the 2 to 1 over 2. So we have 3 over 8. So at the midpoint we have x as, at the midpoint of x we have x as 3 over 8. Also at the midpoint of y we have y2 plus y1 to be divided by 2. y2 is 0 plus y1, which is minus 3, to be divided by 2, which is equal to plus times minus, that's minus 3 over 2. So at the midpoint we have 3 over 8 and minus 3 over 2. So the right answer is C. Find the equation of the straight line through minus 2 and 3 and perpendicular to 4x plus 3y minus 5 equal 0. With 4x plus 3y minus 5 equals 0, we have y equals 5 minus 4x divided by 3 divided by 3. And this making the m gradient equals minus 4 over 3 at the point of x1, y1. Okay, so now equation of straight is y minus y1, which is equal to minus 1 over m bracket x minus x1. So we substitute this value, the value of y for y1 for this, which is 3, y minus 3. We substitute minus 4 over 3 for m. So we have minus 4 over 3. Then in bracket x minus 2 for x1. So we move it up. So now we have this, we go up. So we have y minus 3 equals the minus, we cancel the minus. So we should have 3 over 4 bracket this times this will give us plus, so we should have x plus 2. Okay, so this will come to times this, so we have 4y minus 12 equals this, with now times this, 3x plus 6. So we keep solving. 4y, we bring this to this side, it becomes 3x plus 4y Then when this comes to the left hand side, becomes minus 6. Then we have 0 at the right hand side. So we have minus 3x plus 4y minus 18 equals 0. We divide by minus, divide by minus, divide by minus. So we end up with minus times minus divide minus. We have plus there. So 3x minus 4y minus minus gives us plus 18 equals 0. Okay, let's check the answer options. Yeah, C is the right answer option. If sine tangent is equal to 12 over 13, find the value of 1 plus cosine tangent. Given this value, we can draw a triangle, a right angle triangle. This is a 90 degrees, and this is the tangent. Okay, so for sine, opposite were given, which is 12, and the hypotenuse were also given, which is 13. But for this we don't know, okay, but we can get it through Pythagorean theory. Okay, so let's solve that. 13 square equals 12 square plus x square. So x square equals 13 square minus 12 square. So we have 13 times 13 is 169 minus 12 times 12, which is 144. So with this we have 25. So the square root of 25 is 5. So x is 5. So this size is 5. Then to find this value, 1 plus, for cosine, it's adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so this is 5 over 13. So we now have 5 over 13, right? So we can solve that out over 1. Then the LCM will be 13, 1, 13, 13 plus. This is 1, then 5. So we have 18 over 13. Okay, so the answer option D is the right answer. If y equal 4x raised to power 3 minus 2x raised to power 2 plus x raised to power 2, find the y dx. The y dx is equal to 3 times 4x raised to power 3 minus 1 minus 2 times 2x raised to power 2 minus 1 plus 1 times x raised to power 1 minus 1. Okay, so we have 3 times 4, that's 12. 3 minus 1, that's 2. So we have 3x raised to power 2 minus 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 minus 1, which is 1. So we have 4x plus 1 minus 1 is 0. So it makes x 1. So 1 times 1, that's 1. So the answer option B is the right answer. If y equal cos 3x, find the y dx. When y equals cos 3x, let u equals 3x. Okay, so the u the x equals 3. When y equals cos u, the u equals minus sine u. Alright? So now, the x equals the u, the x multiplied by the y, the u. The y, the u, the y. This is 3 to be multiplied by the y, the u, which is minus sine u. Okay? So if we do that, 3 minus this will give us minus 3 sine u. But u is equal to 3x, if you recall. Okay? So, therefore, dy dx equals minus 3 sine 3x. And this is the same with the answer option B. Find the minimum value of y equals x raised to power 2 minus 2x minus 3. The y, the x, 2 times x raised to power 2 minus 1 minus 1 times 2x raised to power 1 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, so we have 2 times x, which is x, minus 1 minus 1 is 0, x raised to power 0 is 1, so 1 times 2 times 1 is 2. So now we have 2x minus 2 equals 0. 2x equals, by the time this comes here, becomes 2. 2 divided by 2, 2 divided by 2, 1, 1, 1, so x is 1. So the answer option D is the right answer. The pie chart shows the monthly distribution of a man's salary on food item. If he spent 80,000 on rice, how much did he spend on yam? Okay, let's look at it. Let's say y is x degree plus Gary, which is 70 degrees, plus rice, which is 80 degrees, plus beans, which is 50 degrees, all is equal to 360 degrees. Angle in a circle, sum of angles in a circle. So we have 70 plus 80 plus 50 gives us 200 degrees. Okay, so y equals 360 minus 200 degrees, which gives us 160 degrees. And looking at it, rice is 80%, 80 degrees, and is spent 8,000. So yam is 2 times that of rice, that is 2 times 8,000 naira, which will give us 16,000 naira. That's the total amount spent on yam, and that corresponds with answer option A. The mean of 2 minus 2, 4 plus t, 3 minus 2t, 2 plus t, and t minus 1 is, we add everything up. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 2 minus t plus 4 plus t plus 3 minus 2t plus 2 plus t plus t minus 1 all over 5. Okay, minus t plus t cancels this t out. Minus 2t plus t will give us 2t minus 2t. So this cancels this out. So we're left with 2 plus 4, that's 6. 6 plus 3, that's 9. 9 plus 2, that's 11. 11 minus 1, that's 10. So we have 10 over 5. For divide that, we have 2 as the mean. So the answer option A is the right answer. Find the mode of the distribution above. The number that has the greatest frequency is 4. So B is the right answer option. Find the median of this set of numbers. That is, finding the middle term of these numbers, but we have to arrange them in ascending order. So we start by writing out the numbers from 1 upwards. This is 1. This is 2. As I mark it so that I won't be repeating it. This is 3. I think there is another 3 here. Another 3. Then to 4. That's the only 4. Then 5. And we have 3 or the 5. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to write 5 3s. 3 5s. Okay. Then 6. Then 7. Followed by 8. And then followed by 9. And there comes the second 9. Then finally 10. So now we count all the numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15, 8 would be the middle term number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5. So answer option D is the right answer. Calculate the standard deviation of this set of numbers. First, we need to calculate the mean of this set of numbers. Okay, so we have 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 to be divided by the total number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 plus 9 gives 5 plus 4 gives us 9. 9 plus 3, that's 12. 12 plus 2, 14. 14 plus 1, that's 15. So 15 divided by 5 gives us the mean as 3. Okay, now, so we go further on. The standard deviation formula is the square root of sigma, that is the summation of d square over n. Okay, so we need to create a table for that. Let's quickly draw a table for this so that to make it easy for us. Alright, this is x, this is d, and this is d square. Okay, so we have all the numbers: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so the d is x minus the median. Okay, so the mean is 5. Sorry, not median, mean. The mean is 3. So 5 minus 3 gives us 2. 4 minus 3 gives us 1. 3 minus 3 gives us 0. 2 minus 3 gives us minus 1. 1 minus 3 gives us minus 2. So d square, we square it now. 2 times 2, 4, 1, 0. Minus 1 times minus 1 gives us 1. Minus 2 times minus 2 gives us 4. So the summation of these is now 4 plus 1 plus 1 plus this gives us 10. So for this summation we have 10 over 5. Okay, 5 here 1, 5 here 2. So we have the square root of 2, which makes the answer option C the right answer. In how many ways can a team of 3 girls be selected from 7 girls? This brings us to the formula N CR, where N is the total number of items and R is the number in each selection, which gives the number of possible combinations. And this is equal to factorial N over factorial N minus R okay, so factorial N, that is the total number, which is 7 factorial 7, then 7 minus R, which is 4, that is 7 minus 4, that is 3 factorial 3, then the rate, which is 4 factorial 4. So option A is the right option. The table above represents the outcome of throwing a die 100 times. What is the probability of obtaining at least a 4? The probability of obtaining at least a 4 is equal to the number of possible outcomes, that is 16 plus 10 plus 14, to be divided by the total number of possible outcomes, which is 100 times. Okay, so now we have 16 plus 14, 30, 30 plus 10, which gives us 40. 40 to be divided by 100. 0 in here, cancel 0, 2 here, 2, 2 in 10, that's 5. So the answer option A is the right answer. A number is chosen at random from 10 to 30, both inclusive. What is the probability that the number is divisible by 3? Let's write out the total numbers from 10 to 30. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay, so the numbers divisible by 3 are 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. So how many of this number do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the probability that a number is divisible by 3 is equal to the number of possible outcome, which is 7, to be divided by the total number, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so 7 here 1, 7 here 3, 1 over 3. So answer option A is the right answer. Find the value of x at the minimum point of the curve. At minimum point, the y dx is equal to 0. That is 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. And by factorizing this, we have 3x squared plus 3x minus x minus 1 equal 0. So we have further on 3x bracket x plus 1 bracket minus 1 bracket x plus 1 bracket equal 0. Then the common term is 3x minus 1 bracket x plus 1 bracket equal 0. So from this 3x equals 1, 3x minus 1 equals 0, x is equal to 1 over 3. Also, x plus 1 equals 0, x is equal to minus 1. But x cannot be negative at the minimum point. So 1 over 3 is the value of x at the minimum point of the curve. So answer option A is the right answer. Evaluate this matrix. So we use the element. We're going to use 4, 2 and minus 1 element. So 4, then we'll find the determinant of the cofactors 3 and minus 1, 3 minus 1, 1 and 3. Then the plus sign is minus. Then for the 2 element, 2, then the cofactors 2 minus 1, 2 minus 1, minus 1 and 3. Then the plus sign is plus. Then for the element is a minus sign minus 1, so it will change the plus sign now to minus. Alright, so we have minus 1, then the cofactors 2, 3, minus 1 and 1. So now we find the determinant. So we have 4 bracket 3 times 3 minus 1 minus 1. So we have 3 times 3 9 minus bracket 1 bracket minus 2 bracket 2 times 3, that's 6, minus times minus, that's plus, so we have 1. Alright, then minus 1 bracket 2 times 1 2, minus times minus 3, so we have minus 3. Okay, so now we go on. Minus will be plus, so we have 9 plus 1, that's 10. 4 times 10, that's 40. Then for this 6 minus 1, that's 5. Minus 2 times 5, that's minus 10. Then for this we have minus will be plus, so we have 2 plus 3, that's 5. 1 minus 1 times 5 will give us minus 5, so we have minus 5. Alright, so 40 minus 10, 30, 30 minus 5, 25. So from the answer options, B is the right answer. Convert 27 base 10 to another number base 3. So we have 27 to be divided by 3. So 3 in 27, 9, remainder 0. 3 in 9, 3, remainder 0. 3 in 3, that's 1, remainder 0. 3 in 1, not possible, so you bring down the 1, 1 0 0. So option A is the right answer. Three girls share a number of apples in the ratio of 5 to 3 to 2. If the highest share is 40 apples, find the smallest share. This is a JAMB question. Sometimes you can quickly guess the answer. The highest share ratio, which is 5, gives us 40 apples, and the smallest share ratio, which is 2, is just a little bit half of this ratio, which means we will get a little bit half of 40, which is 20, a little bit less than 20. So it can be A, it can be option B, it can be option C. So definitely it should be option D. Okay, but let's solve it out. So the total number of ratio is 5 plus 3 plus 2, which gives us 10. Alright, so let the total number of apples now be X. Okay, total number of apples. Now for the largest share ratio, we have 5/10 times the total number of apples, which we said is X, okay, which is now equal to 40 apples. Okay, so we solve for X, which will now give us 40 times 10 to be divided by 5. 5 here 1, 5 here 2, 2 times 40, which gives us 80. Alright, so now let's solve for the smallest share ratio, alright, which will now be 2/10 times X. Now we have X, which is 80, so we'll represent that as 80. Alright, so we solve that out. 0 cancels 0. Alright, so we're now left with 2 times 8, which is 16. You see, D is the right answer option. Evaluate this expression correct to 1 decimal place. You can quickly remove the decimal by just multiplying the numbers, then multiply it by the number of times the decimal place moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 raised to the power minus 5. Then you divide, you do the same thing with the denominator. 1, 2. That is to be multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 2. So 5 goes in here 1, 5 goes in here 5. 5 times 1, 2, 5 will give us 625 to be multiplied by this. This is just like 10 raised to the power 5 divided by 10 raised to the power 2. So this will now be minus 5 minus 2. This will be plus. Okay, so minus 5 plus 2, which will give us minus 3. So times by minus 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have 0.6 to 1 decimal place. So answer option B is the answer. Calculate the time taken for 3,000 naira to earn 600 naira if invested at 80% simple interest. With a simple interest formula of I equals PRT to be divided by 100. If we make T the subject of formula, we now have T equals I times 100 to be divided by PR. The I, the interest we already given, is 600 times 100 to be divided by P, the principal amount, which is 3,000 naira, times the rate, 8% interest. So now we cross out the zeros. 0 cancels 0, 0 cancels 0. 3 in here, 1. 3 in 60, we have 20. Okay. 2 here, 4. Or rather 4 here, 2. 4 here, 5. So 5/2 will give us 2.5 years, which makes answer option B to be the right answer. Simplify this expression. Okay, so we start 3 raised to the power minus 5n. This is division, so we quickly paste it as division. 9 is 3 raised to power 2. So the 2 multiplied by 1 gives us 2 minus 2n. Okay, then times 27 is 3 times 3, 9 times 3. So that's 3 raised to power 3. So the 3 we multiply these 3 times n, give us 3n plus 3. Okay, so this would be 3 minus 5n minus 2 minus 2n. Okay, so the minus outside here, we change this minus sign to plus. Okay, so now times 3n plus 3. So here we have minus 5n plus 2n will now give us minus 3n minus 2. Then let's quickly bring this one into place, plus 3n plus 3. Okay, so minus 3n plus 3n, we cancel this out. Minus 2 plus 1 will give us 1, so that is 3 raised to power 1, and 3 raised to power 1 is 3. So answer option A is the answer. If log 4 base 10 is equal to 0.6021, evaluate log 4 raised to power 1 over 2 base 10. Alright, log 4 raised to power 1 over 3 base 10 will now be 1 over 3 log 4 base 10, and log 4 base 10 is 0.6021. So we say 1 over 3 times 0.6021. 3 here 1, 3 here 2, then 0. 2 can't go here, 0. So 3 in 21, that's 7. So answer option A is the right option. Simplify this expression. Alright, so we start. Square root 5 bracket, we can split this square root of 147 to square root 3 times square root 49 minus, we can also split square root of 12 to 4 times square root 3 bracket. Then to be divided by the denominator square root 15, which can also be split into square root 3 times square root 5. Alright, square root 5 bracket square root 3 times the square root of 49 is 7 minus the square root of 4 is 2 times square root 3. Alright, to be divided by square root 3 times square root 5. Then we can look for like terms here. Square root 3 bracket 7 minus 2 bracket divided by square root 3 times square root 5. Okay, so now we can have square root 5 bracket square root 3, 7 minus 2, which gives us 5. Okay, then divided by square root 3 times square root 5. So I think we can now divide. Square root 5 cancels square root 5, square root 3 cancels square root 3. So we are left with 5, and that brings us to the answer option B as the right answer. P, Q, and R are subsets of the universal set U. The Venn diagram showing the relationship P intersect Q union R is to be found from these four options. First, P intersect Q. Option A, no. Option B, no. Option C, yes. P intersect Q. That is the common element between P and Q. Then union R. Union the whole of the element in R. So option C is the right expression of P intersect Q union R. If P is odd between -1 and 20 and Q is prime between -2 and 25, find P intersect Q. Okay, let's write out the elements of P. Odds between -1 and 20. From -1 we should be having 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19 as the odds between -1 and 20. Then for Q, our prime numbers between -2 and 25, which will be 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and 23. These are all the prime numbers between the range of -2 and 25. So now we're talking of P intersect Q. Okay, so we'll look for the common. We have 3 is common, 5 is common, 7 is common, 11, 2 is common, 13 is common, 17 is common, 19 is common, and that's all. So this tallies with D. Answer option D is the right option. If S is equal to this expression, find T in terms of S. So first of all, we square both sides of the equation, okay? So the S will now become S squared equals the square root will go away because of the squaring of this. So we now have T squared minus 4T plus 4. Then we go further on to factorize this expression on the right hand side. So we now have T squared minus 2T minus 2T plus 4. Then we need to look for the common factor. So we group the expression. So we now have T bracket T minus 2 bracket minus 2 bracket T minus 2. Okay, so now we can see that the common factor on the right hand side is t minus 2. Alright, so now t equals s squared plus 2. So answer option A is the right answer. If x minus 4 is a factor of x raised to the power 2 minus x minus k, then k is x minus 4 equals 0, then x equals 4. If we were to substitute 4 in this equation of x raised to the power 2 minus x minus k, so we have 4 raised to the power 2 minus 4 minus k equal 0. 4 times 4, 16. 16 minus 4 gives you 12. 12 minus k equals 0. Okay, so we now have minus k equals minus 12. Minus divide minus, k is now 12. So the answer option C is the right answer. The remainder when 6p raised to the power 3 minus p raised to the power 2 minus 47p plus 30 is divided by p minus 3. Let's work that out. So we divide by p minus 3, so divide 6p raised to the power 3 minus p raised to the power 2 minus 47p plus 30. Okay, so we start with p. P divides 6p raised to the power 6p raised to the power 3. We have 6p raised to the power 2. So we use this to multiply p. We have 6p raised to the power 3. 6p2 times minus 3. We have minus 18p raised to the power 2. Now we subtract this minus this, we have 0 minus p square minus minus will be plus, so minus p square plus 18p square will give us 17p square. Okay, so we divide again. P and 17p square we have plus 17p. Now with time we use 17p to multiply these two, we get 17p minus p, we have 7p square. 17p times minus 3 we have minus 51p. Then we need to bring down this minus 47p. Alright, now we minus again. We'll do a minus of it. 17p raised to the power 2 minus this will give us 0. So minus 47p minus minus will change to plus. So minus 47p plus 51p will give us 4p. Okay, p divide 4p will give us plus 4. 4 times 4p will give us 4p. Okay, 4 times minus 3 will give us minus 12. Then we bring down the plus 30. Alright, we do another subtraction. Okay, so subtracting that, this will give us 0. 30 minus minus will be plus, so 30 plus 12 will give us 42. So 42 is the remainder, and that tallies with the answer option C. P varies jointly as M and U and varies inversely as Q. Given that P is 4, M is 3, U is 2, when Q is 1. Find the value of P when M is 6, U is 4, and Q is 8/5. P varies jointly as M and U and inversely as Q. Okay? So we can say P equals constant mu over Q. Then Q equals PQ over mu. Therefore, we can say P1 Q1 over M1 M1 U1 equals P2 Q2 over M2 U2. Alright, we now substitute the given values for all this. Okay, so P1 is the first given value of P, which is 4, multiplied by Q1, the first given value of Q, which is 1, to be divided by M1, the first given value of M1, which is 3, times U1, the first given value of U, which is 2, equals the second value of P, that is what we're looking for, P2, that is what we're looking for, times second value of Q, which is 8 over 5, to be divided by M2, the second value, which is 6, times U2, the second value, which is 4. Alright, so 4 over 3 times 2, which is 6, P2 times 8 over 5, 6 times 4, which is 24. So we cross multiply, we now have P2 times 8 over 5, 24 times 4 to be divided by 6. P2 times 8 over 5 equals 6 here 1, 6 and 24, we have 4, 4 times 4 gives us 16. So by the time we have P2, we take this to the other side, which will now become 16 times 5 to be divided by 8. 8 here 1, 8 and 16, that's 2. 2 times 5 gives us 10. And I think that tallies with one of the given option. Option D is the right answer. If R varies inversely as the square root of S and T, how does S vary with R and T? Okay, so R varies inversely as the square root of S and T. That is, R equals constant over square root ST. So if we make L the subject of formula, the square root will square both sides. So we now have R square equals K square over ST. We cross multiply, we now have ST equals K raised to power 2 or K square over R square. So we divide both sides by T. Finally, we have S equals K square over R square T. That is, S varies inversely R square T. And that tallies with answer option C. Evaluate 3 bracket x plus 2 bracket greater than 6 bracket x plus 3 bracket. Okay, so we open the bracket, so we have 3 times x, which will give us 3x, plus 3 times 2, which will give us 6, greater than 6 times x, which will give us 6x, 6 times 3, which will give us 18. Okay, so now we collect like terms. So on the left hand side, we'll have 3x minus 6x greater than 18 minus 6. Alright, so 3x minus 6x will give us minus 3x greater than 18 minus 6, which will give us 12. So we divide both sides by minus 3 divided by minus 3. And note, please, this minus sign that we're now dividing both sides with is going to change the greater than sign to less than sign. Okay, so this cancel this out. 3 and 12 will give us 4. So we now have x less than minus 4, and that makes the answer option D the right answer. This graph is correctly represented by one of these answer options at x equal minus 1 and x equal 2. Therefore, bracket x plus 1 equals 0 and bracket x minus 2 equals 0. And by the time we expand this bracket, we have x times x, which will give us x squared, x times minus 2, which will give us minus 2x, 1 times x, which will give us plus x, 1 times minus 2, which will give us minus 2. So we now arrive at x squared minus x minus 2. So answer option B represents that. Solve for x in this inequality. The values of x are such that x minus 2 less than 3 or x minus 2 less than minus 3. That is x less than 3 plus 2 or x less than minus 3 plus 2, x less than 5 or x less than minus 1. That is minus 1 less than x less than 5. And that tallies with the answer option D. If the sum of the first two terms of a GP is 3 and the sum of the second and the third term is minus 6, find the sum of the first term and the common ratio. The sum of the first term A plus the second term AR is equal to 3 as given. Let this be equation 1. Then the sum of the second term AR plus the third term AR square is equal to minus 6 as given. Let this be equation 2. So now we subtract, we multiply equation 1 by R. So we have AR plus AR square equals 3R. Let this be equation 3. So now we subtract equation 2, that is AR plus AR square equals minus 6 from equation 3. Alright, so AR minus AR 0, AR square minus AR square is 0 equals 3R minus minus 6, which we now change to plus. So we have 3R plus 6 equals 0. So R will now be equals to minus 6 to be divided by 3, which will give us minus 2. So the common ratio now is minus 2. We substitute that in equation 1. A plus A bracket minus 2 equals 3. So we have A minus 2A equals 3, which will now give us minus A equals 3. By the time we divide both sides by minus, we have A equals 3. So the first term A plus the common difference, which is minus 2, will now give us minus 3 minus 2, which is minus 5. So the answer option D is the right answer. The nth term of the progression of the series of fraction is, that is what we're to find out. If you notice in this series of fractions, the numerators of this series of fractions, you will notice that there's an increment of 3, 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 3, 10, and so on. So we have an increment of 3 multiplied by the nth term. Let's say when the nth term is 1, 3 times 1 is 3. Then when we add 1 to that, it gives us the value of the first term, which is 4. So it's like there is an 3 times n plus 1, which gives us the first term. Let's try it for the second term. When we have the second term, which is 3 times 2, which gives us 6, plus 1, which now gave us 7. So you can see there is this progression of 3n plus 1 for the numerators. Then for the denominators, we notice that there is an increment of 1 in this. So the first term n, let's say the first term, which is 1 plus 1, which now gives us 2, represented as the first term. Then for the second term, which is 2, let's say the second term 2 plus 1, which gives us 3. So there is a constant increment of n plus 1, which is giving us the term. Okay, so for the nth term of this progression of series of fraction, we have 3n plus 1 to be divided by n plus 1, which is the denominator. So the answer option C is the right answer. If P is equal to this matrix and Q is equal to this matrix, find 2P plus Q. So before we start, we need to multiply the matrix P by 2. So we multiply each of the element by 2. So 2 times 5 gives us 10. 2 times 3 gives us 6. 2 times 2 gives us 4. 2 times 1 gives us 2. Okay? So we are to add this with the matrix P, which are element 4, 2, 3, and 5. Okay, so we add directly. 10 plus 4 gives us 14. 6 plus 2 gives us 8. 4 plus 3 gives us 7. 2 plus 5 gives us 7. Okay, and these tallies answer option C. Find the inverse of this matrix. First, we find the metric value of this determinant 5, 3, 6, and 4, which is 5 times 4, 20, minus 6 times 3, 18, and the place value is 2. Then secondly, we find the matrix of cofactor of each element in this matrix. So the cofactor of element 5 is 4 by striking out the line and the column, and this will form a new matrix. So the place sign of this is plus sign, so we end up with a cofactor of 4. Then for the element 3, if we strike out the line and the column containing the element, we are left with 6, and the place sign of this is minus sign, so we are left with a cofactor of minus 6. Then for the element 6, if we strike out the line and the column and the line, we're left with 3, and the place sign of this is a minus sign, so we're left with minus 3 as the cofactor. Then for the last element 4, we strike out the line and the column, we're left with 5. The place sign is a positive sign, so we're left with 5. Then we go to make this a transpose of this matrix. So we now have 4 minus 6 and minus 3 and 5. Then finally we look for the inverse of this matrix, which is for the matrix value of 2, that's the inverse of 2, we have 1 over 2 to multiply the transpose matrix 4 minus 6 minus 3 5. So by the time we multiply each of the elements in this transpose, we now get the inverse of this matrix. Okay, so 1 over 2 times 4 will give us 2. 1 over 2 times minus 3 will give us minus 3 over 2. 1 over 2 times minus 6 will give us minus 3. 1 over 2 times 5 will give us 5 over 2. And this corresponds with the answer option C. And the diagram beside, find the value of x. If you'll notice that this is an isosceles triangle by the two marked sides of this triangle, and this will make the second base angle to be 15 because the base angle of an isosceles triangle are equal. So the sum of all the angles, let's assume this is y, the sum of all the angles in an isosceles triangle is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, with that we can find the value of y, and y will be equal to 180 degrees minus 15 plus 15, which is 30 degrees, and that gives us 150 degrees. So having that, we can use that to find this angle. Let's assume this angle is P. So an angle on a straight line is 180. The sum of angles on a straight line is 180. So that is to say P plus Y is equal to 180 degrees. Then P plus Y is now 150 degrees equals 180. So therefore P is equal to 180 degrees minus 150 degrees, and that gives us 30 degrees. So now that we have P as 30 degrees, we can now find the value of x. The sum of angles in a triangle, that is x plus 110 degrees plus 30 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. The sum of angles in a triangle. Okay, so now we can find x. X is now equal 180 degrees minus 110 plus 30, which gives us 140 degrees, and that equals 40 degrees, and that tallies with the answer option C. They are all in degrees, mind you, degrees. The value of x in the figure above is one of these answer options. So let's assume the line TS extends to a point at N. Then the line PQ as well extends to a point M. And then there is a line that bisects the angle at R into 2. Okay, so let's assume we want to find this angle MQR. Let's say this is G. We now have 110 degree plus G equals 180 degrees. That is, angle on a straight line. Okay, so we now have G as 180 degrees minus 110 degrees, which is 70 degrees. Then for the angle at RSN, that is the angle here, let's assume this is F, can be calculated with this given angle here. So that would be 120 degrees plus F equals 180 degrees. And then F is now equal 180 degrees minus 120 degrees, which is 60 degrees. And so the divided angle at the point of R, let's assume the angle here is angle H. Okay, for us to have this value, H is equal to F, and F is equal to 60 degrees. That is angles, alternate angles. Both are alternate angles and they are equal. Okay, then for the other side of this bisected angle, let's assume this is K. So we now have K is equal to G because they are alternate angles, and G is equal to 70 degrees. So we now, for us to now have the value of X, as in the angle QRS, that is what we're looking for. We need to add H and K, and H and K is 60 plus 70, which gives us 130 degrees, and this tallies with the answer option A. If the angles of a quadrilateral are these degrees, find the value of Y. The sum of angles in a quadrilateral is 360 degrees, so if we add all these degrees of 3y plus 10 plus 2y plus 30 plus y plus 20 and plus 4y are all equal to 360 degrees, the sum of all the angles in a quadrilateral. Okay, so now we add up 3x plus 2x, that's 5, 5 plus y, 3y plus 2y, that's 5y, 5y plus y, 6y, plus 4y gives us 10y. Okay, plus 10 plus 30, 40, 40 plus 20 gives us 60, are all equal to 360 degrees. Okay, so 10y is equal to 360 degrees minus 60 degrees, which gives us 300, and dividing both sides by 10, we now have y as 30 degrees, which makes the answer option B the right answer. A square tie has side 30 cm. How many of these ties will cover a rectangle floor of length 7.5 and width 4.2 meters? This is the rectangle floor. This is 7.2 meters, while the side is 4.2 meters. So we are to find out if a square tie, how many of the square ties that are going to cover this whole rectangle floor. So we need to first of all calculate the area of the square and divide, and also calculate the area of the rectangle and divide that by the area of the single tie. Then from there we know the total number of ties that are going to cover this rectangle. So we start. First of all, we convert the 30 centimeter into meter, that is dividing it by 100, and that gives us 0.3 meter. And to get the area of the single square tile, we times that by 0.03 meter, which gives us 0.09 meter square. And then we find the area of the rectangle, which is just simply times in the length and the width. That is 7.2 meters times 4.2 meters, and that gives us, let's quickly use a calculator, 7.2 times 4.2, that gives us 30.24 meter square, and that will divide by the area of a single tile, a square tile, which is 0.09 meters square. Let's quickly continue. Let's use a calculator. Divide by 0.09 meters square. That gives us 336 tiles, and that tile is with the answer option A. Find the length of a chord which subtends an angle of 90 degrees at the center of a circle whose radius is 8 centimeters. That should look something like this. Okay, this is the center of the circle, and this is the chord. Alright, this is the 90 degrees that was suspended at the circle, center of the circle. So a line bisecting that angle 90 degrees into 2, so we have 45 degrees. So we're given the radius as 8 centimeter. This length, let's assume it's x. So we are to find this x. We're given the angle here 45, so we have sine 45 degrees equals opposite, which is x, over the radius 8. So x is now equals sine 45 degrees times 8, and sine 45 degrees is 1 over root 2 times 8, and that gives us 8 over root 2. Now that we'll find this length of the chord, and since the bisector of the angle divides the chord into 2 equal lengths, which means we just need to add these two together, 8 over 2. But before doing that, this fraction contains a sort, so we need to rationalize the denominator, that is turning the denominator into a whole number. So we need to multiply the denominator and the numerator by the sort. Okay, so 8 times root 2 gives us 8 root 2. Root 2 times root 2 gives us 2. So 2 in here, 1, 2 in here, 4. So now we have 4 root 2 as the length. So we add the 2 because it's 2 equal length. So 4 root 2 plus 4 root 2. So 4 plus 4 gives us 8 root 2, which corresponds with the answer option C. A chord of a circle subtends an angle of 120 degrees at the center of a circle of diameter 4 root 3 centimeter. Calculate the area of the major sector. Let's have a quick sketch of that. Okay, the chord suspends an angle at the center 120 degrees. Okay, this is 120 degrees. The diameter we're given is 4 root 3. So with 4 root 3 divided by 2 will give us the radius, because the radius is half of the diameter. So we have the radius as 2 root 3. Okay, So now the area of the sector is of the major sector. So the angle here will be 360 minus 120, which is 240 degrees. So the formula for area of the major, finding the area of the major sector, is theta over 360 degrees times 2 pi r squared. And the theta is the angle 240 degrees to be divided by 360 degrees times 2 pi r. The radius is 2 root 3 square. So 240 will divide 0 0, then 2 in here 1, 2 in 36 gives us 18, 3 in here gives us 6, 3 in 24 gives us 8, 2 in here 3, 2 in 8 gives us 4. So we now have 4 pi times 2 gives us 4. 3 root 3 times root 3 gives us 3, so 4 times 3 gives us 12. So now 4 to be divided by 3. 4 times 12 gives us 48 pi divided by 3. 3 in here 1, 3 in 4, 1, 3 in 18 gives us 6 pi centimeter square as the area of the major sector, which corresponds with the answer option C. The locus of the point which is equidistant from the line PQ forms one of these answer options. With a straight line PQ, we have points A1, A2, A3, A4 that are each equidistant from the point PQ. In 2 dimensions, the locus of the point consists of 2 straight lines parallel to PQ, each at equidistance from PQ. So, answer option C is the right answer. If the midpoint of the line PQ is having a coordinate of 2 and 3 and the point P is having a coordinate of -2 and 1, find the coordinate of the point at Q. The midpoint coordinate at X, that's MX, is 2, and MY, the midpoint coordinate at Y, is 3. Then the midpoint coordinate at P, x1, which is -2 as given, and y1, which is 1 as given. Then the midpoint at Q is what we're looking for, x2 and y2. Alright? So now we have mx equals x1 plus x2 to be divided by 2. Cross multiply, we have x1 plus x2 equals mx times 2. x1 will given -2 plus x2, which equals mx, will given as 2 times 2. So x2 equals 2 times 2, 4. By the time this comes to the other side, it becomes plus. So we have x2 as 6. Then for my, this y1 plus y2 to be divided by 2. Cross multiply, we have y1 plus y2 equals 2 times my. Okay, y1 we have as 1 plus y2 equals 2 times my, which is 3. So we have y2 equals 2 times 3, which is 6. By the time this one comes there, it becomes minus 1. So we have y2 as 5. So the coordinate at the point of Q is 6 and 5, which corresponds with the answer option C. Find the value of 110112 to base 2 plus 10100 to base 2. These are the answer options. This is a JAMB question. You have to be fast while solving JAMB question. Most times you can see the wrong answer while solving the problem, okay, before arriving at the answer. Okay, so now we immediately start. We have 1 1 0 1 1 1. We write it in the second value beneath it, which will now be 0 0 1 0 1, both in base 2. So this is addition in base 2. 1 plus 0 gives you 1. 1 plus 0 gives you 1. 1 plus 1 gives you 2. You can write down 2 because we are in base 2. Okay, so we have 1 times 2 plus 0, which is going to give you what? 2. So you write down the 0, then you carry this 1 to the left hand side column, you add it up to whatever you have in that column, and already we have 0 plus 0 plus 1, okay, which will give us what? 1. So 1 plus 1, you can see immediately you can eliminate the answer option D and answer option B. They are not correct. Okay, so the next column we have 1 plus 1, which is 2. You write down 0, you carry 1 to the next column, remember. So 1 plus 1 in the next column gives you 2, so you write down 0, then carry 1 to the next column. If you look at the answer option A and C, you discover that answer A, option answer A, is the right answer.